What's happening? So we are going to continue documenting B&B Lawn Mowing's company growth, and in today's video I'll be asking Billy some questions about the initial customer base, how many customers they've got, how old's the business, all this kind of stuff. And then after we do kind of the interview, or maybe mixed in, I will actually show you like the service autopilot of the jobs that are getting done, week 1, week 2, stuff like that. I think we're just getting into week 3.
Yeah.
Is that right? Yeah. Just getting into week 3. So I'll flip around and we'll get this interview underway. Okay, so before we get started, what do you think about our VinWiki set replication here? It's pretty slick. If you're into cars, go check out VinWiki. It's an awesome channel on car stories. It's VinWiki Car Stories is the best, but it's just VinWiki's the channel. But let's get to the point of this video and let's talk about B&B Lawn Mowing's customer base and company age and all that kind of stuff. So, how old's the company?
This is the beginning of our 3rd week.
Okay.
So that's we're very, very new. We've been doing this for 4 or 5 years, respectively, between me and Brandon. So we're not really new, but as B&B we are. And customer base, we started with a few people that we knew would contact us as soon as we had our own thing going. So really we started with 0, but in the first week we went up to somewhere around 10, 15. So real slow, real easy week, but we needed to get some equipment and things together. So it really wasn't too bad to go ahead and start with just the small amount of stuff that I had. And now 3 weeks later we have everything that we wanted to get, and now we're just picking up jobs and we're ready to move forward from there. So instead of us having to be reaching for equipment and things like that, I'm glad that we took care of that in the beginning, and now 3 weeks later we're ready to go.
Right. So it sounds like you had a handful of customers on board before you pulled the trigger and said, let's form this LLC, let's make B&B a real business and really do this.
Yeah, it was really them that kind of prompted me to do it, because to be honest, all I had was the truck and a few small things, so I didn't think I had everything I needed. But when 10 to 15 of your favorite customers are saying, please do this for yourself so we can have you here and not have to worry about other things and stuff like that, and it pretty much just kind of put me over the edge, and it helped me a lot to not be afraid to do it. So it is good to have a little bit of a list, 10, 15 people that you are comfortable with, yards that you're comfortable with too, things like that. So that helped.
Right. So, not everyone's going to have people begging them to start a lawn care business, but maybe you have neighbors, friends, family, co-workers, your parents' co-workers, stuff like that, people like that 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 if you started a lawn care business, they would be willing to give you a shot and, potentially switch from their current service provider or start using your service because they're tired of doing it or whatever. So it's not crazy that he started out with a handful of customers, in my opinion. But
fortunate, if anything.
So, have you got any new customers? Brand new, like you did not know them previously, and you got new customers. How did you get these?
I would say most of our newer interest is coming from actually Facebook, strangely enough, because everyone's got a group of friends, so when you put that up there and you start an actual Facebook for the business, you can really showcase things just like on a website or whatever, but it's kind of easier to get to for local people and things like that, especially when word of mouth has kind of changed into that.
I agree.
If you can hop on Facebook and see that your friend knows somebody that cuts grass, that's a no-brainer. So I think a lot of it's come from there, which is kind of surprising to me. And then obviously our website, which is very nice, I think. Did a great job on that.
Oh, thank you. It's seriously one of the most favorite websites that I've had the chance to build. But what really made it easy for me well, much easier for me than a lot of the other websites is Billy did exactly what I asked and got me great photos to work with.
Yeah.
Especially of like him and Brandon on the properties and stuff like that. Photos of actual properties they've mowed and stuff like this. So that makes it very easy. And then it was just very clear. Like I'm familiar with the area. Billy told me where he works, and I was able to, make the website appeal to people in our area, very clearly display where the service area is, all this kind of stuff. So that is, just really helped out the process. And the website's honestly not doing too much right now because Google is like jerking us around.
Google's being weird.
Yeah, never ran into this before, but Google is like refusing to verify the Google My Business listing for B&B lawn mowing. And I'm about 4 or 5 phone calls in with them, and they're telling me that I've done everything I can possibly do to get that listing verified. And it's just really frustrating. But like Billy said, the internet is still bringing people in to the business.
Yeah, even with that hiccup, we still have the Facebook that was working way better than we expected, so that's picking stuff up. And just having the website for someone to look at is still important, so hopefully when Google verifies us and whatnot, it'll kind of be like a floodgate opening. But at the same time, we are picking up new customers almost daily, so it's seems to be working pretty well the way we're going about it now.
Right. I know I'm kind of watching the emails come in and seeing the quote requests come in, and Amy's answering the phone for B&B. So I'm hearing about all the quotes. I know we're giving out 2 to 3 quotes a day on average right now, and a lot of them are coming from Facebook. But even though Google is kind of jerking us around, we are running Google ads, which is feeding 5 to 10 people to the website a day. And, a handful of those are contacting the company, and we're getting them quotes and signing them up. And we're honestly not signing everybody up because if they're not happy with the price, we don't cut your grass. You know what I'm saying? Like, even just getting started, like you need to be a little more lenient getting started, but you need to draw the line somewhere. Like we had the guy the other day, he wanted a one-time mow for $45.
It was 35, wasn't it?
I think he tried saying that. He's like, dude, other companies said they'd cut it for 40. We told them 49 because we just wanted to get a customer. So we were willing to drop down the price, that the pricing format, how it worked based on square footage, other characteristics of the property, should have been a $53 lawn. I made the executive decision. I said, let's tell this guy $49. So Amy's on the phone with him and tells him $49, and he says, how about you do it for 45? I just need it done one time. And it's like, oh, well, if you only need it done one time, we'll charge you $98. Like, this is ridiculous. Like, how did you think telling us it's a one-time service is going to lower your price, bud? So, the whole thing didn't make any sense. If you had quotes for 40, why are you even contacting us and saying you'll pay us 45? We know the numbers of the company. $45 is not going to be worth it. 49 barely makes it worth it. We were trying to earn that customer and look at it as like a lifetime value instead of a price per cut type of deal. But that is what it is.
Yeah. For sure, there's definitely a thin line in between like wanting more work and then working yourself into a corner, because if you take quotes for too low and then you can't keep up the speed or the quality that you want to at that particular place, they're basically paying to cut it.
So what kind of customers are you looking to acquire? Like maybe if you could touch on like what do you think, like it's often referred to as a customer avatar. Like if you had to describe who are the customers that would use your lawn mowing service, what do they do? What are their families like? How busy are they? What kind of income?
Okay.
Stuff like that. Like, characteristics to describe that.
An archetype. I got you.
Okay.
So like a customer archetype, I'd say the very first one is going to be elderly. Anyone that can't physically cut their own grass or would rather have the time to do other things, with their family or something like that. Retirees is a big one.
Heck yeah.
So then after that, I'd say busy families is about the second stop. Because,
I agree.
Especially I have a lot of customers that really just want their grass cut every week instead of every 2 weeks or whenever. They want it cut every week because their kids are playing in the yard, and they worry about things like bugs and ticks and things like this. So it kind of helps to just keep the lawn manicured as best as possible, and especially if they're busy people that work, they both work. It's just much better for them in the long run to get a company, B&B, hopefully, that is gonna care for their lawn the way that they would if they had the time.
Okay, how big of a service area are you willing to cover?
Well, I live in the northern Kentucky area, so it's pretty central. Anything on the other side of the river can get kind of far for me, so I'd say that's probably about 30-mile range or so.
I think it's less than that if you.
25 maybe.
I think it's way less than that if you actually measured it. I think it's more like 7 or 8, maybe 9.
What?
I bet you.
I
bet you.
Well, we cut to Burlington. That's 15 miles away.
No, it's not. You're crazy. We're gonna pull it up on the computer screen.
All right. I guess I'm running a pretty tight one right now.
Yes. Basically, you're servicing Boone and Kenton County. Basically servicing 2 counties. The county that the business is based in and the neighboring county. And that's really where you're focusing.
For sure.
Right? So 2 counties.
Right.
So we've narrowed our customer base down to we really only want to do work for you if you're in these 2 counties. What if it's a commercial client? Is that okay?
Depends on the contract, but yeah.
Okay. So I think that's a great idea. Why would you close your door off to one segment or the other? I don't know why you would do that. With that said, I also think you should kind of tailor your marketing and presence to one or the other. If you're going after more of a residential client base, I would try to make it appeal more to residential clients. If you're going after a commercial client base, should probably have a more businessy feel, blah, 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 more details that they may want to know, all this kind of stuff.
Higher insurance.
Yeah, get ready for the insurance requirements to meet their needs.
That's the first thing. So
Okay.
so I think that, naturally I like residentials most, and so does my employee and whatnot. So I think that'll be where we go first, obviously, and where we focus our advertisement and things like that. But also, coming with another truck and whatnot within probably the season. So I think that any commercial jobs that would be open for me, I would take. So.
What about property size? Does it matter to you?
No, bigger the better, I guess. As long as it's harder to make the value good for both parties involved. The larger it gets, but at the same time, it's got to be cut. So I do prefer, I would say, regular to medium size residentials.
Okay. So did you put any thought into when you're purchasing the mowers? Was there like, okay, well, we're going after these type properties, so we should get these kind of mowers. Did that play a role in the mower purchase and customers you're going after in the future?
Absolutely. I think that we wanted to start, our first purchases on the mower. We didn't really. There's 2 trains of thought here. Some people think, get something cheaper, get out there and start doing the job, which is great for anybody who's kind of newer or who doesn't have a client base. But I definitely think that with us and our experience in the area, and we're kind of known already, so I think that we wanted the bigger mower, and we wanted to be ready for larger properties when they come.
Right.
The only difference really is that we did have to get the cheap push mower, so that we can be open to yards with garden gates and things like that. So definitely came across, and also with the walk behind, we live in a pretty hilly area, so you can't just have a 0 turn, or you're going to have to say no to basically 60-70% of the people that call. So you need the walk behind so you can cut a hill.
Right.
So that came into play a lot, and that's definitely why we stuck with the two mowers instead of just one. Because, and also, if you have an employee and he is able to mow, you want two mowers going as often as possible, because it just makes it faster, and it kind of gives your employee a little bit of a break off the ground. You know?
Yeah.
That's a big deal. If you're going to be out for 10, 11 hours a day, maybe longer, and you got one guy with you, and he's going to trim every place you're at as well as you expect him to, it's nice for him to be able to mow sometimes. So.
Right. Yeah. If you're in the industry long enough, you'll realize that some of these guys, like, they want to trim all day. They don't really want to be responsible for the mowing and this and that, and you know.
And things.
Right. So, really the point of this video is just to kind of get you up to speed on the customer base, where we started. Like, essentially started at zero. We made the leap. We had zero.
Yeah.
and then the people that said, hey, if you start it, we'll come, they came.
Yeah.
At least the majority of them so far. Hopefully a couple more still will.
Right, and then we got some of the advertising stuff in, like the postcards and stuff, and those have really been going off well. Pretty much anybody who gets a hold of those and recognizes us.
Yeah. Okay. That needs to be another video. What are we doing as far as marketing?
Right.
Because I kind of forgot about the postcards already, but had
Put
postcards.
them out all the time.
But they're actually not postcards, even though they are postcards. You can't mail them.
Leaves.
Yeah,
Right.
we've made them specifically for leave behinds. So leave it behind on door or whatever, something like that. But the reason for that was we wanted to utilize the whole space of that postcard and just be able to like hyper target without the cost of postage. We want these neighbors, you know,
Yeah.
or we want your lawn. Take
Yeah,
this.
or, you know, people I've cut in the past that I haven't been able to speak to in a year. I just leave that on the door, and if they're unhappy with their current company, they can give me a call.
Yep.
It doesn't have to be so evasive or anything like that. It's just information, if you will.
Heck yeah. Okay, so I think that's this video. We're just trying to keep you up to speed, let you see this thing from the ground up, and watch the company growth as it grows. So until the next video, Billy.
Keep making money.
There he goes. Keep making money.